Welcome to Oracle Eyes. The tides of war between Ukraine and Russia are redefining the nature and strategic dynamics of modern warfare. At the center of this conflict are Ukraine's secret weapons and their devastating attacks on the heart of Russia. Ukraine's drone army is now capable of reaching even the most protected areas of Russia. From the streets of St. Petersburg to the center of Moscow and even deep into the Urals, these drones are targeting Russia's military and economic infrastructure. Beyond Ukraine's tactical superiority on the battlefield, this is a strategic maneuver to shake Russia's economic and logistical foundations. The attacks range from oil refineries to military production facilities. In the light of new developments today, we see once again the quagmire into which the Russian Federation has fallen. Russia's deadly drones were disrupted by critical Ukrainian strikes. Ukraine's attack near Moscow managed to destroy and disrupt the production facility of Russia's best drone. Recall that last August, a powerful explosion occurred at the Zagorsk optical mechanical plant in Sergiev Posad near Moscow. Initially, the Russian Federation claimed that a Ukrainian drone had been shot down over the plant. Later, it turned out that the explosion occurred in the warehouse of the Piro-Ross Fireworks Company. Sergei Chankayev, the arrested general director of Piro-Ross, denied that the explosion had anything to do with his company. According to him, the explosion occurred in another building. However, new information suggests that, given Russia's practice of withholding information, the explosion occurred at the Zagorsk Optics and Mechanics plant, which supplies certain components to Lancet Zala Aero. On the surface, there is no proven link between the factory near Moscow and the production of kamikaze drones. But the explosion clearly had an impact. He claims that this assumption is confirmed by information from the Ukrainian OSINT group Molfar, which is involved in sabotage operations in Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated that Russian drones like the Lancet are effective in Ukraine, and their manufacturers have promised to increase production. Moreover, just a few months ago, Alexander Zakharov, the Russian CEO of Lancet Zala Aero, boasted that he could increase UAV production 50-fold. However, instead of an increase in the number of Russian Lancets in combat, the Russian military has seen a decrease. Experts say this success could be the result of a Ukrainian special operation. The Zala Lancet unmanned Borossian is designed to hit both front and rear-line ground vehicles and other important targets. The manufacturer is also experimenting with defeating large enemy attack UAVs in flight. To quote AFU Commander-in-Chief Zaluzhny, the drone has been called Russia's deadliest UAV. Lancet has a maximum range of 40-50 kilometers and a maximum takeoff weight of about 12 kilograms. The maximum flight time is only 40 minutes. In combat mode, it can be equipped with both fragmentation and shaped charge warheads. The drone is equipped with an optoelectronic guidance unit and a television guidance unit, which allows control of the ammunition at the final stage. It does not use satellite navigation and is protected against laser weapons. Despite all this, Ukrainian UAVs continue to change the nature of warfare. Ukrainian forces have achieved significant successes in the war of attrition using UAVs to target military-industrial facilities that manufacture and repair weapons serving the Russian military. Ukraine's small drones have become a nightmare for the Russians. Kiev is increasingly targeting Russia's military assets. Ukraine seeks to wear down Russian troops by disrupting the invaders' land and sea communications. The Ukrainian defense forces are increasing pressure on all transportation and logistics routes available to the enemy. The defense forces' work is aimed at disrupting the enemy's plans. For the first time since the beginning of the war, drones attacked Russia's Nizhny Novgorod region. The previous day, drones crashed in the forest near the highway between the villages of Chernuka and Starye Klushishi in the Kostovo region. These are the first reports of drones in the region since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, air defense forces intercepted and destroyed 8 UAVs over the Belgorod region, 2 over the Voronezh region, and 1 over the Kursk region. The air defense shot down 2 air targets in the Belgorod region, Regional Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov said early on Thursday, February 1st. Our air defense system worked in the Yakovlevsky city area. 2 air targets were shot down when approaching the town of Stroitel, Gladkov wrote. According to him, The operational services are currently continuing to clarify information on the results on the ground, but according to preliminary data, there are no casualties and destruction. On the other hand, it was noted that Ukraine has its own ballistic-type weapons, capable of reaching the Russian Urals and sectorally hit individual objects in the rear of the occupying country. The former head of the Foreign Intelligence Service of Ukraine, Mykola Malomouj, in an interview spoke about a powerful strike force created on the basis of the drone army. According to him, the Ukrainian army can reach with its own forces where the AFU cannot use Western weapons. Ukraine's drone army makes it possible to create a powerful strike force. Ballistic-type UAVs reach St. Petersburg, Moscow, the Urals. UAVs reach areas in Russia where there are troops, ammunition depots, launchers, airfields, production facilities of the military-industrial complex. Potential targets are missiles, homing heads, optics. The general hinted that they may have recently hit Russian oil installations in the Leningrad region, Tambov and Bryansk in this way. According to him, the important thing is not the attack itself, but the fact that these terminals represent billions of dollars of profit. He emphasized that Russia uses them and the fuel to feed its army in Ukraine. As is known, Russia has long begun deploying additional air defense systems on its territory, but it seems that this will not help the aggressor much. This is ineffective. Ukraine has hopes, Malomouj emphasized. The war has taken on a new dimension with the use of unmanned attack vehicles. Drones have been at the center of full-scale warfare since the invasion began. Soldiers on both sides have come to rely heavily on the frontline reconnaissance capabilities of UAVs to guide heavy weapons and support attacks. Ukraine has used drones as offensive weapons, using them as kamikaze one-way weapons or as bombers equipped with relatively small payloads. The buzz of eavesdropping drones became as much a part of the cacophony on the front line as the crackle of small arms and the rumble of artillery. Ukraine believes it can militarily expel Russia from its territory with the full military and political support of its Western allies. The use of drones has also allowed Ukrainian forces to monitor and disrupt the supply lines of pro-Russian forces. This had a significant impact on the conflict and made it more difficult for pro-Russian forces to transport supplies and personnel into Ukraine. It drastically changed the nature of the war, giving Ukraine a strong advantage in the ongoing conflict in the east of the country. Ukraine is prepared to retake its occupied territories militarily, and Russia is well aware of this. It is clear that as soon as Russia's ability to resupply Crimea is weakened, it will be attacked. At this point, we can say that the Ukrainian army continues to surprise the whole world in the ongoing war activities in the air, on land, and at sea, where various weapons are being used and new types of weapons are being tested and developed. Since Ukraine is now able to inflict heavy damage to the invaders' very expensive tanks, artillery systems, and other weapons with a cheap drone, drones have been further developed and have become indispensable for soldiers during the war. The Ukrainian conflict was marked by the widespread use of drones and technological advances, as both sides tried to organize attacks that limited the losses of the invading forces while limiting them. It is now impossible to conduct modern warfare without drones. All the work that used to be done by reconnaissance groups is now done from the air. Attack drones are the most important step on the road to victory. The intense conflict, which is still ongoing compared to the beginning, does not provide clear information about when the Russia-Ukraine war will end. Thank you for following us.